Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I'm here with a very exciting pattern release that I was very lucky to be a tester for. Okay, this one, they've been teasing samples and stuff like that on their social media accounts, but this is the newest Love Notions pattern, and it's the first one that Kira from Island Socialist is the designer of. So she is kind of a, she has been working with Love Notions, like actually working for Love Notions for, I don't know, a little over a year now, since she was doing that before I became an ambassador, so over a year. Anyway, she designed her first pattern. This is the Saltwhistle Dress and Top, and I can't wait to share you my versions that I've made. It was a really fun testing process, and the resulting dress and top are just really cute with some really fantastic details. And of course, there's options galore for, you know, per all Love Notions patterns. So let's talk a little bit about the dress before I show you my two versions, or the top, dress and top. Okay, so square neckline, beautiful square neckline. I'm absolutely in love with the neckline on this dress. It's just different, it's easy to sew, there's a facing that finishes it off. I top stitched my facing down. You could fully line it if you wanted to. You know, that would definitely be an option. Actually, you could fully line the top because the top and the bottom, the skirt are connected at a seam. There's a seam that's there. And I'll show you the construction for how the elastic is inserted. But yeah, you could fully line the top if you didn't want a facing. So yeah, that's not included in the pattern, but it'd be very easy to do. There are quite a few different sleeve options. There's a puff sleeve, there's a little flutter sleeve, or does she call it a flounce? I think she calls it a flounce. It's just like a little flounce around the armhole, as opposed to, it goes on the sleeveless bodice. So there's a sleeveless bodice and then a sleeved bodice. There's a bishop sleeve that's on there, all sorts of really cute sleeves. I really want to try one with the sleeves, but I had signed up to do the sleeveless bodice, which again, it's a different pattern piece than the sleeved bodice. Anyway, I really want to try some of the sleeve versions. And then it comes with a standard above the knee dress, which is what this is, a peplum style top, or this beautiful tiered dress option that all of Kira's samples were amazing. If you don't follow Kira on Island Socialist, she has a YouTube channel. She also is very prolific on Instagram. Go follow her. I'll link her down below. She's gorgeous, and everything she makes, she lives down in the islands, and I'm not sure right off the top of my head which one, but her pictures obviously just have the most beautiful tropical landscapes, and her style is just on point. But anyway, all of her versions that she made are stunning. But the tiered dress is really beautiful, and so many good tester versions came out of this pattern. So many good tester versions. So definitely go have a look at everyone, because yeah, there's some really, really good ones out there. And I'm sure Love Notions will be showing a lot of those on their own social media accounts, but such a cute little pattern. It comes in the full size range. I will put the bust and hip right here. Let's see, full bust front or standard front. Now, version 1 of the tester pattern did not have darts on the full bust piece or the standard bust piece. But then they decided to fix that. So version number 3, version 2 was a quick little version that was in there, and I actually didn't get a chance to sew it up. But version number 3 comes with darts for the full bust fronts. So if you're using one of the full bust fronts, you do get darts in those, which I just really enjoy a dart. Even though I don't really need one in this, I feel like I have plenty of room. I feel like the arm's eye worked fine in this. I do still like the fitting, the way things fit with the dart on this one, but this top's still going to get worn a ton. What else can I say? Oh, the biggest thing, which you're going to notice, is the beautiful scalloped hem, and hopefully you can see that. I'll put some pictures up. I got some close-ups of this beautiful scalloped hem. It's just so sweet, and it's not really hard to do. There's a facing that finishes off the scalloped hem. I've actually top stitched my facings in place, like at the hems, because I had such busy fabric and you can't see it. But if I were doing a solid fabric or something that where you could easily see that line of stitching, I would probably do the blind or the catch stitch hand, hem, or a blind hem by hand or by machine. I've just never made friends with my blind hem foot on my machine, ever, on any of my machines. So I tend to do my blind hems by hand. I even have an actual blind hemmer machine. That's all it does. It's an industrial blind hemmer, because I had it when I was doing alterations and thought, oh, this is gonna save me so much time, and could never get this stupid thing to work correctly. So, I still have it. I still have it. It is in a timeout box in a corner of my sewing room. But anyway, Kira's got some great instructions on how to do blind hems by hand, and it's kind of relaxing. And the skirt's not huge, so it doesn't take forever and ever and ever like the Upton dress I did. The shaping at the waist comes from elastic, and I will show you the inside here. I'm going to show you the inside of this dress just because it's prettier. Let me pull it off of her. Oh, excuse Lena. Okay, so the dress, top, same thing. So for my facings, I actually used leftover scraps of my, I'll talk about the fabric here in a second, leftover scraps of my silk crepe de chine button-up shirt that I made not that long ago, which I think is just fun, and it just makes me smile. But it was a good weight of fabric to, work well with that. And then the armhole gets finished off with bias tape, and I actually used bias tape that was left over from my Auvert top from Itch to Stitch, that So Batik rayon, which is just really, really beautiful. And then on the inside of this one, maybe you can see, I used for the binding on this one the insides of my Vernon, orange Vernon, that are striped, that I thought was kind of fun. And then self fabric for the hem of that one. I just thought it was fun to use something a little different on the inside, and I have all this bias tape all the way made up. Okay, the casing on the waistband. The pattern requires 1/2 inch wide bias tape, which is what you use to finish off, if you're making the sleeveless version, what you use to finish off the armhole, and then 3/4 inch wide bias tape to make the casing of the waistband. Now, you don't really need any curve in this waistband, so I actually used a ribbon instead. And it worked just fine. So the way that it is constructed, she has you, you sew your bodice and your skirt together. The skirt does have to be gathered in a little bit to the bodice. Sew that together, and then I went ahead and finished it off, although you don't have to. This was getting kind of hairy. I was getting a lot of threads, so I just went ahead and serged those together all the way off. Then you take your bias tape or ribbon, and you line up if you're doing bias tape, you line up that little fold from one of the edges right next to your seam line, and you sew it down on top of the seam allowance only. So you sew that all the way around, and then you press everything up, and then, sew down the other, so your bias tape folds up, curves in, and then you sew it all the way around, leaving a gap so you can thread your elastic through. But it's just as easy to use a ribbon, and then it doesn't get fiddly on you. So I just lined up the raw edge of my ribbon to the seam allowance, sewed it, and then pressed up, and then stitched it down, leaving an opening for the elastic. And then I fed that through, and now we've got beautiful little waistband there. Okay, so it's just a really good finish. And even the scallops, which can be a little daunting, I guess, what I did is I cut my facing fabric rectangles. I just cut 2 rectangles the width of, the pattern piece, and then I cut my interfacing out per the pattern piece with the scallops. So then I just had to fuse my scallops onto the rectangle, and then I cut the fabric around the scallops. I just felt that it was just getting really fiddly. I did not do that with this one, and trying to line up your interfacing, so it's kind of like block fusing, but trying to line up my interfacing with the scalloped pattern piece was a bit of a nightmare. So I would either just cut 2 rectangles, fuse those, and then cut those out per the pattern piece, so basically block fusing for those, or like I did, I went ahead and cut the interfacing out per the pattern piece and then just stuck it onto the rectangle and then trimmed off the excess. But really, sewing this was not hard. Just took my time. And then you trim the seam allowance down to like 1/8 of an inch, and then you clip into your the top points of the scallops here. And then I just went around and I kind of stuck my finger in and got them all nice and rounded, and I just did a little section by little section, giving it a good press as I went around. And I feel like I got really good scallops on both of them. So fabric, this is a crinkle rayon from Style Makers. I actually have more of this, and it might be kind of hard to see, but this is a beautiful like ditzy print. See that beautiful ditzy print? So it's the aqua. These are actually my summer wardrobe colors I'm working with. We've got some like lime in there, the pink, and a little bit of yellow. So love that. I still have quite a bit of that fabric left because I had 3 yards of it, and this didn't use very much at all. And then for this one, this is that Lady McElroy viscose, like a viscose challis, rayon challis, that I got from Minerva, and I had bought this to make my sky shorts. You guys saw this on the rayon video, the sky shorts and the harmony blouse, and I got all these cut out of that fabric. So that's another reason I had to use contrasting facings, because I used all of it. Those sky shorts use so much, I mean, they use a lot more fabric than you'd think, because they're like a circle-legged culotte short. Anyway, I used every last bit. I didn't even have enough to make bias tapes, which is another reason I had to use bias tape I already had. But I just love this. I think this is such a fun summer dress, and I have my little orange slides that I think look so good with both this dress and this top. I made the size medium with the full bust. I did shorten the bodice by 1 inch at the lengthen and shorten line. And then for the skirt, because you have the scalloped hem, I actually just cut 1 inch off the top of that pattern piece to shorten the skirt by 1 inch, because it's very rectangular, because everything gets gathered in. So I just cut 1 inch off the top. So I've shortened the entire pattern 2 inches for this. This one, I just shortened the bodice by 1 inch and left the peplum alone because, you know, it's a peplum. Yeah, which is typically what I do. I'll shorten tops by 1 inch, dresses by at least 2 inches, sometimes 3 if it's a midi. Anyway, so pleased with this. And yeah, I think Kara just did such a great job, not only designing the pattern, but moderating the test and making, you know, changes and fixes when needed. I love both garments, and I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of like mashup opportunities. I was so inspired by Friday's Feature Friday pattern was the Ravinia skirt, and Ilsa did the mashup of the willow top with the Ravinia skirt, which was just gorgeous and stunning. So I feel like, you know, we could mess around and do some, I don't know, it just inspired me to do some hacking and some messing around with other Love Notions patterns, because I think that's a lot of fun when you've already purchased something and then you can make it go the distance and turn it into something completely different, which is why we love the creative art of sewing, right? Okay, so that's kind of everything about this pattern. It is on sale now for, I believe, on sale for $9.50, I think, or $9. Ooh, can't remember. I'll have the link to the pattern down below, but it is on sale for the next week. So definitely go over and have a look if that's something that you would like. I also have my Tomcat 10 code that you can use to get an additional 10% off even the sale price. So you want to use that one as well. Okay, there we have it. The beautiful Saltwhistle top and dress by Love Notions, designed by the wonderful, wonderful Kira. Okay. Friday's video, if I can get my act together, is going to be probably a part 1 of the rayon vlog, mostly because I have a lot going on this week. In fact, I'm filming this, you're watching this on Tuesday, but I'm filming this the weekend before. Just a lot of personal things actually going on this week. this and that. So I'm very hopeful I'm going to be able to be down here sewing on some rayon because I've got a few things that really need to get done. But yeah, and I will definitely vlog all of that as I go because that takes me no extra time to do that, and it's kind of fun to talk to the camera. Anyway, and I think my tripod should be arriving, my new tripod, which I'm very excited about. Thank you to everyone who has donated to the coffee account. It has allowed me to be able to purchase a really, really cool tripod. I'll show it to you guys. If starting a YouTube channel or filming tutorials has ever been something of interest to you, would you guys be interested in a video on that actually? If that's something that you might be interested in, just the equipment that you kind of need to get started, it's really very minimal. And then maybe if you want to up it, you know, different things you can add. Let me know if that's a video that sounds like something you would like to hear, or maybe you guys don't care any about that. But yeah, hopefully part 1 of the vlog will be up for all the rayon. So that's the plans. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I have another pattern test for another pattern company that should be a new release that should be coming up sometime soon. I'm not sure if it's going to be this week, but definitely keep your, maybe it's probably next week, but keep your eyes peeled because that'll be coming up and it's another really great one. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Get some sewing in, and I will see you guys next time.